Hello and welcome again to another episode of Crackin Furphys, where if you've listened to any of the other ones, you know the drill. We crack some furfies, we talk some shit, and we have a good time. Joining me this week as Big Daddy Drew, podcast daddy, still on his honeymoon. We have Tom McRobert back again, and we have a special guest appearance this week from a good friend of ours, Michael Bedson. How are you, Michael?
Good. Hello, friends.
Lovely to have you here. So
It's lovely to be here.
You're also stuck in this Victorian lockdown with me. How's that been going?
Well, it is what it is, to be completely honest. But yeah, I don't want to bring us down. This is about having a good time, this chat.
Well, I mean, we spent the first 20 minutes of the last episode complaining about lockdowns and restrictions.
He's like the better side of me.
Yeah,
I don't want to focus on that.
Yeah, I figured I read the blurb of the previous one just so I knew exactly what I was getting myself into, and I saw that it was like we chat about lockdowns again as prefaces. I'm like, maybe we steer away from it. I don't know.
Yeah, so we have definitely done that more than once. So probably for the best that we don't get too into that. And what about you, my friend Tom? How have you been?
I've been good. I've been filling my time with a bit of
cheeky
cheeky streaming lately.
I have seen that.
I've opened up a game recently called Psychonauts 2 that came out, I believe, yesterday, and it is a trip. It's far out there, and I don't want to give too much away, but halfway through playing today's episode, I noticed that one of the characters was voiced by Jack Black.
Oh, really? That's actually really cool. I remember playing that game, Brutal Legend, back on Xbox 360, where he was the main character in it. That game was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been seeing you getting about doing some streaming. I've been meaning to get back into it as well myself, but I've been very busy trying to organize stuff for my move, and it's still in my head in trying to get this border crossing stuff sorted. But, that's another conversation for when we're not having fun.
Big Daddy Wallace is coming home.
But tonight,
coming back to us.
We are having fun.
Yeah, you say that coming back to us, Tom. You mean he's moving away from me, you selfish man.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, as I said, tonight we are having fun, which means we're finally doing this with each other.
Ooh.
No, I'm a little bit of sacrilege. I don't actually have any beer, but, I'll crack my wine bottle instead.
Well, that'll do, because neither of us are actually drinking beer. The podcast is called Crackin Furphys, but I'd say probably maybe 50% of the time one of us has an actual furphy, so it's no big deal if you don't. I'm currently drinking bourbon.
And I'm drinking bourbon that you left at my house a long time ago.
Yes.
Just wanted to put this sound effect in there, just to...
Oh, beautiful. Ooh. Very crisp. I love it.
What a pour.
What kind of wine are you drinking, if I may ask?
So I am drinking a family special that was given to my grandfather by his best friend because he just bought some, second grade grapes and then just fermented them in a barrel that's probably 40 years old and covered in dust. It's a 2010 rosé, and we call it the Ralph Special because it's made by a man called Ralph Zanello.
I like it.
I remember I asked you the same question. You've told me about this wine once before, and you went on that same sort of spiel. And when you got to the end, I expected you saying like, "Oh, it's this family-made thing. It's one of our friends. He made it himself, and it's delicious." But instead of saying it's delicious at the end, you said it tastes like shit. Oh, that's amazing.
You get about halfway through the bottle, you pour a bit of honey in, you shake the hell out of it, and it gives you a really nice flavour. But aside from that, standalone, neat, it's not so neat.
You don't have it on the rocks. You don't really do that with wine, do you? I don't know anything about wine.
It'd probably be better on the rocks anyway.
Oh, that's my relationship with wine, on the rocks, ever since when I was 15 and used to drink a lot of goon.
Oh, the Fruity Lexia days.
Oh, Fruity Lexia, the 5-litre cask from Slip's
first
shop.
Regret.
All right. Yeah, so I guess you guys, Michael, I know you wouldn't have been getting up to much. Tom, I know you just had your MRI on your knee. How did that go?
Well, I'm still waiting to find out the results. I go hopefully back into the doctors tomorrow and see what kind of treatment and all that kind of stuff. But hopefully, I'm optimistic. I think it'll get sorted pretty quickly, and then I can get back to lifting some iron and erecting some sheds.
Did they tell you, like, do you know what it actually the damage is yet, or are you still waiting on that as well?
I have a funny feeling from the diagnosis the doctor gave me pre-MRI that it's going to be a tear in the lateral side of my left knee, the cartilage, the meniscus. So I've had meniscus removed from the medial side, which is the interior. I had that done about 2 or 3 years ago, and I think it's just, old age is catching up to me, and I'm wearing down, and they're going to have to cut this other side out.
Oh, they just cut all of your cartilage out, let it rub.
Oh, just get rid of the knee.
Just asking for future reference, Tom, is this something that, becomes of a dad at a certain age, lifting all those kids, you just get a bit of knee problem, or?
I think so. It's, I think all the weight I carry around from being just an absolute fucking legend is really bearing down my knees.
That it's all the weight you carry from having that big head, you egotistical prick.
Yeah, it could be.
I've got 3 kids, 2 boys, and immodesty.
It also could be the weight from my big head and not being able to fit through the door. A lot of damage trying to pull it through.
The head's so big, you had to upgrade your door frames.
Exactly. Get that double spacing.
Just attack it with a saw and do a semicircle on the top.
Let's not be greedy. What about you, Daddy Ash Wallace? What's going on with you?
Yeah, no, not a great deal. Just, still working all the time. I've been trying to sort out, as obviously I'm trying to get this old body as well back out of lockdown and back into South Australia where it belongs. And, it's very difficult at the moment. The South Australia's just hard closed their borders to Victoria, which is making it very difficult. I understand why they did it. They obviously want to keep Delta out as whatever it takes, but it's still annoying. It makes it so hard.
Yeah.
But hopefully we'll get that sorted. That's mostly what I've been doing, just work and trying to sort that out. I have to buy myself some form of car as well, because I don't actually have a car. I've just got a work van, which obviously I won't be able to take once I finish up at my job. And I need to get all my stuff back. So I'm looking at buying like a reasonable size four-wheel drive, like a dual cab ute. So that's going to cost me a lot of money. And then I'm trying to sort all this out as well. And I don't even know if my application will be approved yet. Oh, pardon me. Drinks already.
I still think you should. You should definitely follow my suggestion, and the link that I sent will give you a good car. I swear.
For context, anybody that's listening, Michael, when I told him I was looking for cars and I said I might get a van just because so I can transport all my shit, he sent me this link that was just this, I don't even remember what it was, like a Renault Traffic or something. It was
you were after a van. I sent you a link for a van.
I think it was like burgundy, the color, and it was like, it looked like it had fallen off of a cliff. It had been in a very serious accident.
It looked like it had rear-ended a semi, and half the top is just like completely concaved into the rest of the van.
It looked like it had rear-ended a planet. That thing was had a bad time. It had been run over by a fucking Navy ship. All right. So this is the point of the podcast where we get on and we start trying to crack some furfies. Now, Michael, you listened to last week's episode, so you know roughly what's going on, but we'll still I think we'll have Tom go first this time.
Ooh.
And you can go either second or third, or however you feel. And yeah, we'll go from there. But yeah, at this point, we'll feed each other some news articles. 2 of them will be real, 1 of them will be fake, and it's up to the others to try and guess which one's the falsie. So, Tom, whenever you're ready.
All right. So my first story I have for you is legendary skateboarder teamed up with drinks manufacturer Liquid Death to make a limited edition run of boards.
Liquid Death? Is that alcohol or is that like an energy drink that gives you heart attacks?
I'm not sure. I didn't read much into this one this week, but I can definitely pull up some more information for you if you want.
No, your more information is what leads me astray.
Second one is Denver Broncos fan in turmoil after painting over rivals Las Vegas Raiders logo on home stadium.
Yeah, okay, go on.
You want more about that, or you want the next story?
Next story.
Next story is football referee yellow cards Kaká, then takes selfie with Brazilian legend.
Kaká.
That's tricky.
Does Kaká still play? It's a very specific reference. If he doesn't, that's a very, very well thought out Furphy. If he doesn't, because I remember playing FIFA maybe 2011, and I'm pretty sure Kaká was playing back then. And I think he'd been around for a while by that point. But honestly, all of those FIFA games are exactly the same. It could have been any of them.
This is true. I can give you extra information on any of these if you guys want anything.
I'm also just trying to think, rack my brains. If
I can let you know that the legendary skateboarder that teamed up with Liquid Death was Tony Hawk.
Oh.
Well, he's the only one I actually know of, so...
Bam Margera was a skateboarder back in the day.
Chad Musker?
Chad Musker.
The only person who I associate, the only thing I associate with Bam Margera is a purple Lamborghini, so it shows how classy I am.
Have you seen him lately? He looks like his dad. He's so fat now.
He looks like he's been rear-ended by a planet.
Yes, he does. And then he ate the planet afterwards.
Are you planet shaming Bam Margera?
Is it wrong to do that? If he eats a planet? What was it a DC villain that ate planets?
I know that there was a Transformer, there was a World Devourer.
Oh, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, I'm getting way too off topic. This tangent has turned into a tangent. So
it's good.
Let's get
Tom,
back
would
on
you read the
this.
first one again, please?
Okay, so legendary skateboarder teamed up with drinks manufacturer Liquid Death to make a limited edition run of skateboards.
And what was number 2?
Number 2 was Denver Broncos fan in turmoil after painting over rival Las Vegas Raiders logo on home stadium. So
my first thought when I heard that one was I'm not sure that the Las Vegas team is the Raiders, but then now I'm thinking that I might have been thinking of the Canberra Raiders. So it could be the Las Vegas Raiders. Canberra is obviously a different sport in a different country.
A little bit more on that one is Wesley Bronson, aged 27, was arrested and is being charged for defacing public property as Raiders press charges for damages. Bronson is currently being held by local authorities and is conferring with his lawyer. In a statement, he said it was a dare and he'd gladly do it again.
Oh, what a mad lad. All right, so...
My bet is the Furphy is number 2.
Yeah, I was thinking number 2 as well, actually. I feel like I should go a different number apart from number 2 so we have more chance of getting it, but then I feel like that's the wrong reason to go for a different number. So I think I'm going to go with number 2 as well, actually.
You guys got me this week. You
Yes!
did.
Ooh, yeah!
Finally! I think that's the first time I've gotten one of Tom's Furphys. This is the 3rd time he's been on the podcast, I think, or maybe 4th.
Yeah.
And first time I've cracked one. Finally!
Yes. The champion has been dethroned.
He always
Every
does.
dog has their day.
He always does the little write-up as well afterwards that he can share, and it throws me off. I don't do it because I'm lazy. Tom goes above and beyond to lie to us.
Yes,
You
I
gotta remember
do.
that he scrambled to get this as well, so that's why I'm impressed.
Yeah.
All right, would you like to go next, Michael, or do you want to go third?
That's all right. I'll go now.
All right, let's
All
hear it.
right. My first one, believe it or not, man enters Ripley's aquarium, strips naked, and jumps into a shark tank.
I mean, wow.
That sounds too crazy to not be true. All right,
Yeah.
continue.
The second one is not so sweet trip. 2 teens lick toads and break into a chocolate factory.
Did the toads turn into golden tickets, or?
No, unfortunately, the toads were more like a third party in this entire story.
The
Did
toads
they
were the
get-
Oompa Loompas.
Nobody cared about the sexual assault claim against the toads. Let's be honest.
Did they get any of Gladys Berejiklian's everlasting job stoppers?
Oh my lord.
Well, that's a reference to a meme that was sent in our group chat that I cannot be bothered explaining. So let's get story number 3, please.
Alrighty, story number 3. Woman using guns, laser, sights to play with cat, shoots friend.
Ooh.
Okay, that took me a second to work out what you'd actually said. That's pretty funny. I have a very warped sense of humor. Okay,
I have you got anything that you can tell us more about the first story?
So there was a man who jumped a security barrier, jumps in the water after stripping naked, and swims around for a bit. And there are people filming him because there was actually a video to go with the story. And just people who are videotaping him, and I don't really know anything else about it.
Went viral. All right, I'm going to go with another stab here. I want to go with number 2 again. I just get the feeling that it's going to be number 2.
I'm gonna stick with number 1.
You're going to go with number 1?
Yeah.
So Tom's going with Believe It or Not, and Ash is going with the Not So Sweet Trip.
Yep.
All right. So my Furphy is number 2.
Yeah!
He's on fire, ladies
2 from
and
2, boys! 2 from 2, and they were both number 2.
Mm.
Look at that. Two's all round. Alrighty. So, for my first round of Furphys, well, of 2 real and 1 Furphy, article number 1, sausage vending machines are booming in Germany.
I want that to be real.
Now, if Drew and or Dan were here, there would be many, many jokes made about a Furphy that I'd made in a previous one about something to do with German cannibals getting salmonella. I can't really remember exactly what it was, but the joke continued for many podcasts afterwards.
I like it.
All right. Article number 2. Group of suspects who allegedly performed a jewelry heist officially arrested due to police overhearing one member's parrot repeating heist plans.
Oh,
And
talk about a squealer.
Article number 3. Man dies after using strong adhesive to seal penis when he couldn't find a condom.
Okay. Now, that was the news story I thought wasn't going to be podcast worthy, so I admitted it, and I am so glad that you said it.
Oh, your faces when I said it as well. That was brilliant.
Well, first of all, it's shocking. Second of all, it reminds me of this lawsuit about that lady who used Tarzan's grip or some strong adhesive to lacquer back her hair.
Yeah, I remember
and it got
that.
stuck to her scalp.
They had to, surgically remove it.
I don't think she'll ever get it off.
I love one of the quotes in that article that says, "Man didn't have condom, so decided to seal penis shut with glue." Greatest thing ever. Okay. Since it's a 50-50 now, I say we should try and come to an agreement and pick one because we're going to get it regardless if we try and divide our forces here. But I want it to be the German sausages thing again because I just think the ongoing joke would be too good to pass up. What do you think, Michael?
Yeah, I'm in total agreement. I think that we should definitely choose the same one, but I'm not 100% sure.
Also, just for the record, when you had told us previous to us starting recording that you had skipped a story that you wanted to use because you thought it was too vulgar, I thought it was going to be this one. I was like, if he's not doing it, then I have to.
My man.
Hey,
Anyway, continue.
Tom, let's go for it. Let's just do the German sausage vending machine. Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, so you're saying that the sausage vending machine is booming in Germany is the Furphy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I can confirm that that is incorrect.
No!
There was no group of suspects performing a jewelry heist busted by a parrot.
That
Would you
nut
like-
bird.
Would you like to hear about the sausage vending machines?
I'm invested now.
Okay. So, hungry Germans craving a sausage in the dead of night are increasingly turning to vending machines for their bratwurst, bockwurst, and barbecue meats.
I don't know about you, but if I am absolutely soaked after a night of drinking, I could not imagine anything better than finding a vending machine that gives out sausages.
Like if you're in the city and you're about to get the train home, you're like, oh, hang on a second, you go buy a fucking sausage.
Hold the train!
The machines are booming outside German cities where shops are less likely to stay open for long hours. Especially in structurally weak rural areas, vending machine solutions becoming increasingly popular, says Heike Richter, an industry spokesperson. That's got to be one of the most German names I've ever heard.
And honestly, it is just a downright ingenious way. Like, we all come from small-ish country towns, and there's not really much open when it hits a certain point down here.
Absolutely
that is
not.
a genius way of getting around it.
Now they just need to open like a heated one that just sells full kebabs.
There's one man inside there with like tiny little, utensils to chop up the meats.
I'll also give a quick read to some of the details of the glue one. So a 25-year man has allegedly died after using epoxy adhesive instead of a condom. Salman Mirza was attending a hotel on June 22nd, day before my birthday, to hook up with his former fiancée when he realized he had forgotten to bring some protection. I wonder if she's former because he died? Or they broke up before he died. The couple from Fate Wadi, I'm not going to say that because I'm going to butcher that, decided to use a strong adhesive to seal off Salman's penis.
Sounds like sepsis. He definitely died of sepsis.
Contraception, but he was later found unconscious in the hotel room by his friend. He was admitted to the hospital where his condition deteriorated and he died. During a forensic examination, it was determined the cause of death was makeshift contraception. That's an interesting cause of death.
Surely that's the first case of that happening.
You'd think so, but I bet you it's not. People are weird.
True.
So you seem to have passed out through the lack of blood. We found 80% of your body, 80% of your blood stuck inside your penis.
All right, Tom, can we get your second round, please?
Righty-ho. First headline is Baby on Nirvana's Nevermind cover sues band for alleged child pornography.
Child pornography.
Yeah, right.
The second one is China is creating a karaoke blacklist.
Okay, can I just be the first to say that every single karaoke bar ever needs that?
Just a quick question. What do you mean by that?
I assume it means like banning songs?
Yes, there is a certain list of songs China is compiling that will be outlawed for use in karaoke bars. I think they've said they've got fines. Yeah, they're going to be setting up and issuing fines for places that do not adhere to the blacklist.
Oh, I see. I thought that they were blacklisting certain people from singing.
No, the songs themselves.
So we just need to blacklist every Cold Chisel song at every Australian pub.
Oh, we can't get rid of Smash Mouth, though. What a legend.
So, okay, Cold Chisel and Oasis, and then I'm fine with the rest.
Yeah, that's fair. And lastly, Keith Richards has COVID test after band member passes test positive for Delta strain.
Ooh. Okay, so for one reason or another, I know one of them that you've said is true. I'm not going to tell Michael which one it is.
It's the Nirvana cover.
Oh, there you go.
That one's fairly widespread, and I thought, this might be a good point and topic for us all to discuss because we'd probably all have our views on this.
I think... Okay, we'll talk about this after the Furphy. So it's either between Keith Richards or... What was the other one again, sorry?
The karaoke blacklist.
Karaoke blacklist. I certainly hope that one is true. But I feel like China are probably more likely to not fine people, but take them to concentration camps.
Come on. Not getting political or anything, but they're not Uyghurs. Come on.
Ooh.
Jeez. Okay. Well, I heard about... Is it Charlie Watkins? Was that his name?
The drummer, yeah.
Yeah, I heard about him dying, and I don't remember hearing a cause of death, but I definitely heard about him dying. I don't know if he had COVID or not.
I think
I
the
didn't
noose is
hear
slowly
anything
tightening
about-
around Tom.
Didn't hear anything about Keith Richards.
I think this is kind of an after effect of what's happened. I think after, we all know Keith Richards will be around forever and forever, so this won't be an issue for him. But I think that, the question of
He's
morality
just
when it pops
immortal.
up. Exactly. It'd be him and the cockroaches after nuclear war.
So I'll still be around.
Yeah, you'd find him scampering under the fridge.
But I think, when one of your close friends dies that you've spent, most of your life with, the question of morality pops up. And I think that's
Alright,
what led him
I'm
to
going
do
to
it.
go with that one is the Furphy, but simply because I want the China Blacklist karaoke one to be true, because I think that should be adopted by every karaoke bar.
It should just be like nationwide. The UN should implement this.
Yeah, basically. Alright, what about you, Michael? Which one are you going to go for?
I honestly think that the Furphy is the Chinese blacklisting karaoke songs.
Well,
Not for the sake of difference, but purely for the sake that I think that would be something, only because I know more Japanese people than I do Chinese people, but I think that that's something that I think that's something that Japanese people would do more so than what Chinese would.
yeah, that's fair. I can tell you that the Furphy is Keith Richards has COVID test.
Yes! Fuck
So,
yes,
Ash-
China!
3 for 3 so far.
3 for 3, and you didn't get mine. I could be going for the clean sweep here.
Just don't let it get to your head, otherwise you'll have to manufacture all your doors like Tom does.
Well, Tom's got the tools for it, so I can just borrow them when I get there.
Exactly.
Oh, that still makes me sad to hear.
I'm sorry, baby.
All right.
Alright, Michael, let's get your second round as well, please.
Easy as. So number 1, hypnotist David Days knocked out during show, leaving three hypnotized.
Ooh, okay.
Alright.
Number 2, flying bear kills 2 Canadians in freak crash.
So, is the bear capable of flight, or was it like thrown from something?
All
It was
so there were-
driving.
there were 2 cars involved. It hits the first, flies into the windscreen of the other.
Right, okay.
Hence the title Flying Bear.
That sounds like a very, very Canadian thing to happen. So definitely plausible. All right, number 3, please.
Geronimo, more like Geronimo, no. 5% of bungee cords will fail.
Oh, that's very blunt. Okay. Okay.
Ooh,
Would you like to know anything interesting about any of them?
I want to know more about the flying bear.
All right. So there was a black bear just doing its foraging, day-to-day business. Walks onto one of the streets, gets hit by a car, and this 440-pound black bear gets booted from one car into the windshield, which then goes through the windshield, takes out 2 people, obviously, regrettably, then goes back out the windshield, the back shield of the other car. So it purely goes straight through.
Whoa. Oh, there we are.
Break out the turbo snake.
For some reason, I felt that coming. I don't know why. I can feel it coming in the air tonight.
Yep.
Well, do you have any thoughts straight off, Tom?
I feel like the 5% of bungee cords is very real. Like, I've recently done a lot of testing with height and safety things, and that is probably a fairly safe statistic to think it would be real.
Well, what they've written is a new report shows that EPDM rubber bungee cables manufactured in early 2020 have been inlaid with inferior rubber have been used to save costs as tourist trade plummet due to pandemic.
Oof. Yeah,
I guess that
so-
makes sense. What one are you going to go with, Tom?
In my opinion, it's 1 or 2, but I want the Furphy to be the bear.
You want the
I
Furphy
don't-
to be the bear.
I don't want people killed by a booted flying black bear, and I think that it's just too big to fit through a car.
Okay, so I'm also going to go with the bear, but I think I could be wrong in saying this. This could be a very uneducated reason to go for this, but I don't think they have black bears in Canada. I think they're just brown bears. I could be very wrong, though. So I'm going to go with the bear
You may have caught me out.
for that.
Ooh.
Ooh, but you haven't because it was the Geronimo.
Oh, no.
More than Black Geronimo. No.
Wow.
I was going to
Okay.
go with that just because of the terrible pun in the title. I was like, that seems like a very Michael thing to write.
It absolutely is. You've learnt your lesson. Fair deuce.
But I didn't know they had black bears in Canada. There you go. Whew. Well, I didn't get the clean sweep, but that's okay because that was an excellent lie.
That was
It's okay,
a good
Daddy Wallace.
cash money wallets.
All right, for the final round. Okay, sorry, I just need to burp. Oh, this
There we are.
delicious bar drink got me good. Okay, article number 1. Low magnitude earthquake in Japan pardon me.
Excuse you.
Low magnitude earthquake in Japan causes little damage but leaves famous statue in rude pose. Article number 2. Belgian woman wants to marry chimpanzee in zoo, citing he loves me. And article number 3. Dog carving glows gold from people petting it thousands of times.
Ooh.
You're playing with my emotions here.
All right. So I must admit something. I know that number 2 is real. She had a-
I was the Belgian woman.
No, the Belgian woman had a 4-year affair with the monkey.
Right, well, I haven't actually read into that article yet, so I didn't know that.
Wow. Okay.
I know that's highly specific. I know it's your story, but I just needed to put that out there.
Okay. So one or three. Can you tell me more about news story number 1, please, sir?
Yeah, I want to know what kind of pose it's in.
I
Okay.
have a funny feeling that it's going to be like just leaning against something. Like its face is going to be in the other statues, like breasts or crutch or something.
No, so it's facing in one way, and there's a planet behind it.
So, what
Is
it
it
is I've only briefly, like, I've barely looked at any of these articles. So what it is was it was a statue of a person with their hand out, and it's crumbled away all of the fingers except the middle finger.
Ooh.
But the hand, it says rude. It's like kind of clickbaity because he's got his hand facing, like, palm out, so the middle finger's actually facing his own face.
That's more like a I know you are, but what am I kind of feel.
All right. And sorry, can you just remind me what the last one was?
The last one was dog carving glows gold from people petting it thousands of times.
See, I want to think that that's the Furphy because you know, and we know how much you like animals, and people petting that just makes sense. You know?
Well, it could. I imagine it's like really old, and the gold is kind of like semi-oxified on the outside. So the more that people touch it, the more it degrades from like the oils on the skin and such. So I'm leaning more so towards the statue in the rude position.
Nah, I'm going the dog. I think that he's trying to trick me into not picking it because
I listened to last episode. I knew how he double bluffed you the whole time.
You think I've brought out the same tactics?
probably.
Oh, absolutely.
Hey,
Me
if
trying
it
to double
worked,
bluff me.
All right,
I'm holding my ground.
Michael's locking in the rude statue and Tom's locking in the dog. Yep. I can confirm that the Furphy was the rude statue.
oh no!
So
I mean, I'm
What
glad.
I tell you?
So the dog carving, this is from the Daily Star. All across the world there are statues and sculptures that are believed to bring significance if you touch them. One very special and popular statue is that of St. John of Nepomuk. It's famous for its glowing gold dog. The carving of an unknown pup has received thousands of pats from loving hands over the years, leaving it with a metallic glow. Allegedly, the good boy brings luck, fortune, and forgiveness to those that touch it. It goes on to say more about it's in Prague, but yeah, it says more, and there's some pictures of it. The pictures are actually really cool because like everything else is sort of like black, and then that's like sort of glowing gold. It is really cool.
Wow.
But yeah,
I'm really happy about that. I am glad. And where can I buy my ticket? And when does Australia open up? I need some prosperity.
Need to get
I'm going first.
All right. Well, that brings us to the end of our Furphys.
I think I want to take a step back and have a chat with what Tom was wanting to talk about.
Oh yeah, that's right. About the naked baby.
Yeah. So, I'm not sure how much you guys have read into this, but I mean, I'm a normal, everyday kind of guy. I got into Nirvana when I was in high school, all that kind of stuff. Now, this guy is going along and saying that his parents didn't authorize the use of that photo for the album art. But this guy has recreated that same photo multiple times. He is clothed, but he's also got a Nevermind tattoo on his chest. Now, this to me just seems like a big grab for cash.
I would honestly agree. I think that I've heard interviews with this guy when he's talked about, he's kind of like almost bragging about being the guy on the cover. Because why wouldn't you if it was you?
Yeah.
But I do also think that apparently they were paid like $200 for the photo initially, and that was it. And then this photo is like one of the most iconic images of all time. You imagine that they made quite a bit of money off of merch and everything for it. They probably should get a bit of money. Like, I don't know how much they should get. They should get some form of royalty. $200 is obviously not an amount that they should have been, like it should have been much higher. But like, again, as well, like the child pornography thing, I think it's like, that's a bit of a stretch.
Royalties, maybe. Child pornography, I think, is a big stretch. And they didn't know how big they were going to be. They didn't know how much they were going to explode. Well. So perhaps $200 is all they could afford. And, like, I can understand if there was no, like, legally binding contract signed or handed to and from, the parties involved, he has some form of a case. But to get this far in, like, he's, late 20s now? And to only just be attacking it now after doing all these things and be really proud of it seems like it's just insulting to the remaining members.
Well, if I could put my 2 cents in, similar to an investment, and to differentiate from that investment, you're essentially making a transaction of goods for services. So the actual goods themselves is, and I don't mean goods in a weird way, but that image. That image is basically a part of a transaction, and that transaction is fine at the moment the money is transferred over. It's not an investment where it grows over time. So that's something which basically stays in place. It doesn't have any growth from there at the end of the transaction. So as far as like the child pornography stuff is concerned, I wouldn't necessarily agree, only because of the fact that it was done for a specific purpose. It's a baby. Like, as far as I'm concerned, there's no way that you can sexually explicit that kind of image. It's done for the purpose of art. And I'm not going to go into the politics of, what is art and what isn't. But in the same way, I believe that the transaction has already been done, that he realizes that, so he's going on a different kind of avenue, which is, I'm going to sue them for something which is going to push that letter down the road to the point where maybe it'll have an outcome, maybe it won't, but he's willing to take that risk.
Yeah, I think that, like, whatever way you look at it, it's just this guy wants to get some money out of them. It might be like, I think the issue with it saying it's a transaction is probably there was no actual official transaction. It was probably just like money over hands. Some guy was like, here, I'll give you a couple $100 to take a picture of your baby for this album cover. And this guy was probably like, yeah, cool.
So yeets him into a swimming pool.
Can he swim?
Do you know who took the photo?
Not a clue. Apparently, it was one of the father's mates. I heard an interview about this. It was actually on the Ben and Liam podcast. They talked about it. Anyway, I think that, yeah, like whatever way you look at it, there's probably no like official way he could have tried to get money from them without going down
Yeah.
this avenue. And I think that like I don't know. I don't actually know what has happened, if there was any communication before this legal suit was launched. I imagine that there probably was, and Nirvana basically said, no, we're not going to give you any money. And I think that that's probably a bit unfair. He's probably like, you'd think that considering it's one of the most iconic images of all time, they probably made a lot of money from said image, that they could get, like, it doesn't have to be a lot, but at least something would be nice.
Would you suggest that, like, saying a certain amount of sales from that album should be pushed forward to that person?
I don't even know so much about the album. I think it's more to do with the merch, because that picture, you see it on t-shirts and posters and shit all the time. And imagine if you were that guy, you'd be walking down the street and you just see somebody wearing that and be like, oh, that's me on that t-shirt. That, I don't know that, like, I'd say it'd be frustrating maybe, considering you got nothing for it and it is everywhere. Yeah, I get where he's coming from, but I feel like there's probably a much more subtle and easier way that they could have gone about it.
It's an interesting thing, especially when you see, child stars from other franchises. There's been a photo circulating recently of the guy that played Sam in Lord of the Rings and his wife at the end of that, Rosie, and their daughter. They've just recently taken photos of her graduating college and things like that. So I think, some people really do invest time and things like that. And, children that don't really have a say in contracts and things like that happen when they were young. But it could just be that, the surviving members of Nirvana don't really get a say, because maybe Francis or Courtney Love are the ones that are in control of the legacy that Kurt left behind.
Does seem like a very Courtney Love thing to do as well, doesn't it?
Exactly. But yeah, that's just I wanted to bring that up and have a discussion about it. That's all.
It's really hard when you don't really know like the inner workings of what's going on, like whether there was talk before it, or if he wanted some form of royalty before they launched this lawsuit. It's hard to know. I haven't done much research. Maybe there is information out there. I don't know though, because I haven't looked into it. It's hard to tell. It's hard to know if he wants royalties, if he just wants money, if he wants attention. Who knows? Yeah, it is. It's a tough one. It's an opinion piece. Everybody's going to have their own take on exactly why it might be happening, what he should get for it. And I don't think there's any right answer. Depends on why he's doing it, I guess. And we'll probably never know. So,
yeah. Well, think about it this way. The right answer will only come at the end, and the end will be determined by the winners.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, there we are.
If you went first, you're last. All right. And I guess there's something else I wanted to talk about very briefly, just because I wanted to discuss to you guys quickly.
Yeah.
So,
this is
just butter me up. Let's go.
This is just something that happened today that I feel like I need to share with people because it was disgusting. So I got home from work today. My sink in my bathroom has not been draining properly.
Ooh, spicy.
And it's like, you sort of like you just use water and it sort of like fills up the sink a bit, and you have to like turn the water off and it'll drain slowly. And you're like, well,
looks like you need the turbo snake.
Something's not right there. I knew it's been like it for a couple of weeks now. And anyway, the other night, so I was brushing my teeth and I spat the toothpaste out at the end, and I was like looking down the drain hole in the sink, and I could see when their eyes looking back at you. There was a hand reaching up. No, when I spat, it was like draining down the plug hole in the sink. And instead of just going like straight down, I could see the toothpaste actually like gathering on something underneath the plug hole. And I was
keep going.
Okay, that's not right. I need to fix this. So today when I got home from work, I took out the U-bend from below the sink so I could clean it out. And oh my God, coming out, it wasn't actually even in the U-bend, it was before the U-bend, it was just at the bottom of the plug, which is why I could see the toothpaste gathering before it drained down.
Oof.
I don't even know what you would call it, some unholy amalgamation of what looked like mucus, bile, and, I don't know, radioactive waste.
Did you drink it?
You basically had a child.
I've got it cooking at the moment. It's in in the slow cooker.
Your child?
Yeah, both. No, it was absolutely feral. I had to like go and put on gloves, and I was like pulling it out with my hands, and it was like I was breathing through my mouth and only just slightly because the smell was abhorrent. And like, I think I've got a pretty strong stomach. I was like full on gagging, and the texture of it felt so like sludgy as well, and there was a lot of hair in it. It was just a bad time.
I have a question for you, Ash.
Yep.
Is this the shared? But do you have a shared bathroom or do you have a singular?
So my room has an ensuite, and it was in the ensuite bathroom, and
Ooh. Most people like their own brand.
Failed experiment.
Their own. It depends if I can even say that was mine. I don't even know what it was. It looked like, I don't know, somebody had emptied their organs into the sink and put them through a blender first. It was disgusting. But yeah, I just wanted to share that with you guys because it was something gross that happened today, and I wanted to discuss yours before we finish up today.
That's right. You know what they say, in for a penny, in for a pound. So generally when I'm at work, because I work in hospitality as a barista, nothing too special, nothing too fancy. But every now and then I have to get my hands dirty. And I have a specialized jug rinser. You turn the jug upside down. When you've got your milk in it, you press it down, it shoots jets of water straight up in the jug. Pretty, space age,
Did you sit
Star
on it?
Trekky kind of.
Like a bidet.
Well, not yet. It's like a bidet, but you don't sit on it, Ash. But naturally, with something which pours water into a certain basin, it has a U-bend under it. Now, I don't know about you, but whenever you empty milk into a basin and it's solely used for the purpose of milk, eventually you have to clean it out.
Do you collect the cheese that you find?
Absolutely. It's
should be
Michael's
like
blue vein.
Wouldn't be cheese, it'd be limestone by the time you get to it. You could
it's
use
fine.
that as a
It's yours to do
baseball
with
bat
whatever
that
you
you
want.
bend.
It's my special brand of blue cheese. It's great.
On sale in Geelong. Get it now.
I only have one word to describe it, and it is pungent.
Well, I mean, I got that from mine, and mine wasn't milk-based, so I imagine yours would have been so much worse.
Welcome to
that would make it stink.
Yeah, absolutely. Welcome to the Masters League.
All right, so we've been going for about nearly 50 minutes, which is a good amount. I can't remember if we had time at the start before we actually did podcasts, so it might be shorter than that. I don't know. Anyway, at the end of the podcast, we normally try to impress the rep. We didn't do it last week. We're actually not going to do it again this week just for time constraints and because it's Michael's first episode, so we won't force him to talk to someone he doesn't know, especially with COVID and everything. We don't want to get him in some random person's face. So
Get me in someone.
So with that, I think we'll end it there. So thanks for coming down to the bar, guys, and we'll hope to see you again next time if you're available.
Cheers.
Thanks for having us, man.
No worries, and farewell, friends.
Bye, Ash.
Crackin Furphys is lovingly crafted and recorded in the southeast of South Australia. The show is produced and hosted by me, Drew Agnew, and my co-hosts are Ash Wallace, Daniel Treadray, and Thomas McRobert. If you enjoy my work here as well as on my other podcasts, The House of Mario, Encore at The House of Mario, and A Drew Story, help spread the word by sharing us with a mate or leaving a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. If you would like to show further support and help me achieve my goal of freeing up one working day a week to spend more time refining and creating podcasts, please consider checking out patreon.com/idruby, where for only $1 you get access to my secret recordings where I share everything behind the scenes. A big thank you to the legend DJ for supporting the content at the podcast producer level on Patreon. From the bottom of my heart, thank you.